So hey guys, and what's up everyone, and how are you doing? How is your weekend? How is your Sunday taking you? Mi niko tu hapa, nimechill tu hapa home nikifanya tu calculations fulani, nikifikiria juu ya mambo kadhaa. Unajua leo nimekaa nikafikiria out here ni kama tuna premier valentine, ni kama valentine iko premier. Na nimekaa tu hapa nikifanya calculations zangu, and I'm like, how is valentine gonna be? And niko tu hapa nafikiria venye hiyo valentine imekujia mahali mbaya, imekujia just on a Monday venye tu tumemaliza weekend, ndio hiyo boom ikaanguka. And I'm like, kweli tutaweza kusherehekea, tutaweza kujibamba aje na hii valentine? I'm like, nafanya tu calculations zangu na nafikiria venye tunaweza fanya valentine pia ikuwe tu time poa ya kureflect on our marriages, pia ya kureflect on our relationships, because valentine is time for love, time for like, okay, sijui hata ilitokanga wapi by the way, lakini it's a time that is taken for love. And this valentine naona ni kama sina rada kuoa, sina mpango. So I was like, kuna vile ninaweza jipanga na hii valentine na pia na bado ilete shangwe. Ninakaa tu nikifikiria vile kesho bado niko job and almost everyone is at work, and like zile za sahii ndio girl child pale mwenye ako ile side ingine anafikiria venye labda atapewa priority, then the woman child on this other hand anaanza kufikiria venye sasa vile mimi ni goat wife, what will happen, like atanipeleka out, atanitreat ama how will it go. Then the boy child on the other side na yeye hapo tu na stress zake, anafikiria venye sijui aende main conference, sijui ajiwakilisha kwa hiyo hall, sijui aende na side chick, sijui alete maua the goat wife. Sasa hapo ndio ako tayari, anataka kusema, anataka kudeclare. Na unajua hiyo kudeclare yenye anataka kudeclare, ana declare war ama ana declare peace, ana declare kujianika ama ana declare to let go. So on one hand the side chick anamgoja sana ndio waende, on the other hand the goat wife stress mob, like kuna wale tunaona sasa itawaki kitu itawaki, tunajiconsole tu tunasema by the way nilitaka sana ku celebrate valentine, lakini nikakumbuka mimi sio mzungu. So kuna vitu mob zenye tunajiconsole nazo. Kuna wengine tuko zile za mimi hata sijui sasa ninaenda na valentine na nani, because hata tuende pamoja. Wengine yani issues tu mob. So nimekaa hapa nikichill, nafikiria tu mambo hizo zote. Nafikiria venye watu wengi saa hii wako under painful moments. Kuna wengine wako under painful moments because of breakups. Kuna wengine wako under painful moments because life has not been good on their side. Imekuwa so unfair, like they're suffering, others are sick, others financially wako tu na problems, you know. So nimefikiria about it na nikaona kwamba this can be a good opportunity, it can be a platform ya watu ku review how they have lived, and to review venye maisha imekuwa, venye wamekuwa kifanya mambo, how their love life has been, how they have been relating to one another. Unajua kuna watu wenye sahi they just taking one another for a ride, yani they are not taking each other seriously. Kuna watu wenye wana take advantage to one another. Kuna watu wenye okay wako tu pamoja but it's like they are not together. Kuna watu wengine wenye kabisa they know that they are hurting their mates, they are hurting their spouses, they are hurting their friends, but they don't see like they are doing anything wrong. It is a time when when we can review, we can sit and look back and see how many times we have slipped, how many times we have reconciled, and how many times we have come together, how many times we have broken each other's hearts, and see, is that life worth keeping? And so I also understand that at this time so many people will be like, depression will load. Wale wenye wamekuwa tu wakipitia like signs of depression, sahi inaweza load kabisa, kwa sababu this is a time when most people wanakuja evidently, wanaji-expose, wanajionyesha vile ambavyo wako, and the relationship, the far they have taken their relationships. So this can be a time to talk about our differences. It can be a time to reflect on our we put a better reflection on our love life and see what can we add up to our life so that we can spice up that old love to come back. Because I understand and I know that every one of us, when we began so well, but sahi inaenda tu ikienda chini. Most people wenye walianza wakiwa peak, sahi wameteremka. Kama ulianza ukiwa 100%, sahi wengine wameteremka to 90, and to an extent kuna wengine wameteremka mpaka to negative, because they no longer find love, they no longer find the importance of each other. And this can be a good time when we can reflect and see what can we do, what can we add to our love life, so that at least we can make it better, at least we can make it rise again, we can revive it again, we can rekindle the fire that was there before. And we are living in a very bad times when people can like do things and wasione kama wamekukosea. We are living in a bad time when mtu anaamka kwa sababu ya hatred yenye ako nayo kwa moyo wake, anaamka anaua watoto wake, anaua bibi yake, anaua familia yake yote, and then anatoka tu anaenda. Wengine they don't just go, wanatoka wanaenda wanajihang, wengine wana commit suicide. Okay, kujihang pia ni commit suicide. Wanaenda wana commit suicide. Wengine they just go, they go and go kabisa, wacha waionekana hata siku moja. I remember and some few like a year ago, there's a certain girl alikuanga friend yetu. She used to make my hair. So ananiambia that bwana yake anaenda anarudi, wanaachana wanarudiana. And one day anaamka asubuhi, and then the husband comes. Alipokuja and he did the unthinkable. Aliingia hapo kwa beseni ya vyombo, akachukua kisu, and you can imagine what he did. Right now yeye bado ako jela, hiyo kesi bado inaendelea. But you see, huyo dem alikufa na akaacha watoto wake, I think 4 children. So those children have been suffering. So those children are missing their mother, they don't have the father. So like maisha inakuwa tu miserable. So if we can reflect our lives, our love lives, our relationships, and see, is it worth of keeping? Some people have fallen into depression, deep depression. Ile yenye mtu hata kufikiria, hawezi fikiria. Hata mwingine amewekwa kwa hospitali. Mwingine hata hawezi like aongei. Si eti kwa sababu ako mgonjwa mahali pengine, amemute kwa sababu ya vile amekuwa tu na stress mob. Amekuwa tu na mambo mingi zenye zimemsurround. So this is a time when we can reflect and see, is this love life worth of keeping? Is this relationship worth of keeping? Because my friend, kama maji umesikia imekuwa warm, tafadhali ruka mapema. Kwa sababu usiporuka, maji itakuja ichemke na itachemka ukiwa ndani. So you would rather jump when the water is warm. But I don't advocate that people should like break up, like people should leave each other, like people should divorce, like people should separate. But then nobody should dictate your joy and your happiness, how you enjoy it. Because hata kama unataka ku keep that relationship na saa ingine imekata kabisa, it is not keepable. Sijui kama hiyo ni Kiingereza. I don't know whether there is such a word. Kama hiyo relationship haiwezi nitasema iwezi kufanya nini. If you cannot keep it, if it is shaky to an extent that it cannot be mended back to its normal state, you would rather not die, because wale wengi wenye wameseparate, they are not dead, but there are many who clung unto that relationship even when it was falling, and right now wote wamekufa. So you would rather watch out. If you find that this relationship is so toxic, if you find like this relationship is so like undoable, you would rather do away with it. And this time, each time you have Valentine, it is a time when you can sit and talk about issues zenye zina eat up to your marriage, zina eat up to your relationship, zina eat up to your brain, to your mind, that zina kosiwa na other people. You know, there's something that I always say. Friends, ukitaka kuwa shed, you can shed them within no time and you move on. Like, nikisikia kwamba, okay, hata unaweza kuwa wewe ni rafiki yangu kabisa kabisa, na we might be very close, we might be so attached to each other, but dropping you might not take me a long period. Siezi take a long time ku drop, but dropping a relationship from a spouse or a family member, saa ingine it is quite hard, because these are people wenye tuko na covenants. Kuna covenants zenye zimetufunga, but that does not mean that you should die there. That does not mean that utakaa hapo maka ukufie hapo, you know. But above that, there is one thing that I always tell people. If you involve God in your relationship, He's going to show you the end result of your relationship, and He is going to keep it for you or break it for you. Because if you're faithful to Him, hawezi kukuacha uteseke, hawezi kukuacha ukufe hapo, hawezi kukuacha like ukwe depressed maka to an extent you cannot even talk, umemute to an extent you cannot even do your things. Sasa hata mwili wako umekata, you just there seated, lazima usaidiwe kila kitu. You know, people are falling into depression maka unapata kwamba mtu hata hawezi kujipeleka kwa haja, anabebwa ndio apelekwe. Yani akili yake imemute to an extent, ajui kwamba sasa nafaa kwenda toilet, wacha niamke niende, anajiendea tu hapo penye yako, because depression is so real. Depression is so much there. Therefore, what I am saying is, this is a time when you can look back and see how far you have come, the things that you have encountered, the issues zenye umeshindwa kusolve uko mbeleni, and then you see, is it possible for me to continue? Is it possible that this relationship is still going to work? Then you can resolve to move on, and you can resolve to mend all the hizo loopholes, hizo patches zenye mko nazo, hizo tears zenye mko nazo, zenye zimeform kwa relationship yenu, kwa marriage yenu. You can take this time to sit and resolve them. You can also, or maybe you are at distance, hamko pamoja, and you see now this Valentine has come on a day when tunaenda job. Wale wenye wenda distance jobs wameshaenda, maybe wataenda kesho. Maybe you can decide to call each other. You can decide to have a real conversation on phone. You can decide to visit each other and sit, hata kama ni kesho jioni during that Valentine. It is not a must that you sit and eat and drink and then you carry back your problems in the house. You can go and say, today is not a day when we are eating and drinking and having that wine and doing those flowers. It's a day when we want to sit, we reason together, we see why we are together, we see how we are going to move on, and we see who is hurting who, and we see, is it possible to break all those barriers ambazo ziko mbele yenu. Also, you can go and resolve and start supporting each other. Supporting each other means sometimes relationship inakuwa bitter kwa sababu watu wanataka ku work like independent people. You are in a relationship, you are in a marriage, but kila mtu anaendesha gari yake kivyake, kila mtu anafuata lane yake, kila mtu anafuata barabara yake kivyake. But you can resolve and say, from today onwards, this Valentine, we are coming back together. We are going to work together. We are going to help each other. We are going to support each other. It doesn't matter how much you can bring into the relationship, but what matters is the commitment and and the consideration of the things that are involved in your relationship. Also, you can decide to spend time together so that you can have time to interact and learn one another more. For example, kuna watu wenye hawajawahi understand each other, and that is why you are seeing cases of women wenye wamesema, nimesoma cases of women ambao wanasema kwamba mimi nimeishi na bwana yangu, ananisupport everything, ananifanyia kila kitu, like anafanya everything, and ananishow like affection. So at some point wanafika mahali, then they realize that their husbands are cheating on them. Hiyo kitu inawa hit so hard because they have never understood that their husbands can cheat. They have never thought that their husbands can go out. They have never thought that their husbands can have attachments or any relationships out there. So wanajipata like it is a shock on them. It beats them so hard that mtu anaanza kuzeeka hapo hapo, anaanza kuboeka hapo hapo, anaanza kujikosa hapo hapo, and they might lose their self-esteem and also lose their self-value. They lose their self-worth, and after that you find someone who was very very vibrant in life anakuja anakuwa like ashakuwa deflated. So you can sit together so that you can understand each other. Sometimes we have husbands ambao wamejiweka kwa problems fulani, but they don't know how to come out of them. So they are like, aki mimi sasa nitafanya aje? I wish my wife can understand that I'm going through this and that. I wish my wife could give me an ear nimwelezee zile vitu zenye ninapitia. This is a time when you can take and then you sit together, you understand each other, and so that kama kuna mtu mwenye ako na problem mwenye namsumbua, anaweza kupata mtu wa kumsikiliza. You know, in life, especially in a relationship, it's about understanding each other. It's about being compassionate with each other. It's about supporting each other. It's about accommodating each other. And so that brings love. If we can look at all those things, even if we can work on those parts, if we can work on those basics, they are just basics. They are just ni vitu tu za kawaida za maisha. If we can think about them and we reflect on them, I want to tell you that life will be very beautiful. We are going to enjoy our life in our marriages, in our relationships, and no one will come back depressed. No one will go out wanting to kill themselves because there is nothing that they can find good, because life will still be beautiful. And again, let's take our time to worship our God. Let's take our time to make God the best friend in our relationships. Let's make sure that God is always the chairperson whenever we are having a discussion on our marriages, on our relationships. Let's make sure that whenever we are seated on the table, God is the unseen guest, like it states in so many houses. And let us always ensure that prayer is the key and the only thing that is really done most of our times in our lives, and even in our houses and everywhere where we are. Let's ensure that we do pray, because it's only prayer that will take us to the next level. It's only prayer that will help us to have a union with God. It's only God who can bring success in our marriages. And I want to wish you a happy Valentine. I want to wish you love. I want to wish you gladness and joy. I want to wish you happiness. I want to wish you success in everything that you aspire to do. And I want to remind you that life is still beautiful no matter what we are going through. It might be breakups, it might be pain, it might be heartaches, it might be depression, it might be all those things, you can name them. Life is still beautiful no matter what we are going through. And so I wish you a happy Valentine, and bye-bye. Sipokuwa tu nimepaka uchafu na huyo boy wangu. Allah.